here we go. Paul, where are you?
Okay, yesterday they had the same exact time. It was Tommy and Paul, right? 56 seconds.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot they tied.
Yep. We shall take a look here.
Right. We shall see.
Mr. Bas Rutten.
Tony, got it.
Then it's 42, 46.
Oh, Tony was 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Hi,
Tony was 4 seconds faster. Paul 4 seconds slower. Can't come anywhere.
Oh, and there's your thing for actually 10 o'clock.
Now it's 10 o'clock. See?
Hi, Batman. Hi, Alex. Hi, Fernando. Batman's here. Paul wants to know if you use your O2 trainer before or after training.
Oh, before training, we have actually tests done with the O2 trainer that if you do it before, it actually works for you, in favor for you. You have way more energy. They did the test on that. I'll post that test. It's good that you said it. Hey, listen, yesterday I posted a video. Very proud of that. Remember, and there you can see that I'm 100% telling the truth. You can go all the way back. I put the Facebook link in there. You click on it. You go to a post from 2018 in May, I believe May 17. And where I started with number 11, resistance kept number 11. It took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Yesterday, for fun, I tried it again. Now, I did it 2 months ago. I did it 1 minute and 5 seconds. Yesterday, I did 55 seconds. So I went from 3 minutes 45 to 55 seconds. That is 75% faster. That's a crazy freaking number, right? Think about it. And you can see it. So if you guys are on my Facebook page, scroll one post down, or 2 posts, I guess, because 1 post was to announce this. And then you will see me, the time lapse of doing it. It's just bizarre. It really is good. So yes, Paul, do them before working out. That is always the best.
Okay. Batman just got his O2 trainer, and someone else said it's the greatest thing.
Boom. Love it. Good, Batman.
Casey from Australia wants to know how come there's no more Rutten and Ronaldo podcast.
Oh, it was very hard. It was very hard to schedule for us. You know, Mauro is a really crazy person as well. Busy, crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he does everything, right? I think he still does Bellator. He does WWE, and then he does Showtime boxing. And I mean, the guy's just a really wanted announcer. So it was very hard to schedule, but yeah, we miss it though. It was a lot of fun always.
Yeah, those were good. Why? And she also wants to know, why do you think you don't see any more? How you do the block and counter, and you do block punch? Why do you think we don't see more of that in the UFC? It's more just absorbing or evading.
Yeah, I have no clue. I really have no clue why we don't see this more often. I said a long time ago that everybody was going to fight a square stance like I'm standing for mixed martial arts. It is the best stance there is. I mean, it's undeniable. If you break it down, it's the best stance there is for it. So, but 10%, 5% is doing it. So I have no clue. And what did she say?
She said it seems like most people, they're just absorbing or evading.
Yeah, and counterfight. Well, the thing that I pat myself on my back for still, till this day, is that, and again, till this day, I still hold the highest striking accuracy in the entire MMA. And you can look that up. That's what the UFC did for me. I never knew, but the UFC, when I got inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, that's a stat that came out, that till this day, I have the highest accuracy. But that goes with my fighting style. I don't throw jabs. I don't throw feints. Would I fight different right now? I think I would. But I would still be a counter fighter. And when I counter fighter, I'm waiting for openings of the opponent. Like I said, if I throw a right straight, there's no opening for me. And I literally like to kick. That's why I punch and right away come back to block that kick or punch, whatever. If I evade that punch and then come back with a punch, with a counter. And then if you're a counter fighter and you do this correctly, yeah, you get a whole very high accuracy in percentages. So it's just a style. You know, I hope we're going to see it more.
Mm-hmm. Batman wants to know, do you start with since he just got his O2 trainer, do you pick a number to start with? Is it difficulty-based or time-based? Okay,
first of all, go to Bas Rutten's O2 Bootcamp. Bas Rutten's O2 Bootcamp. The top video, this drives me nuts. Bold letters, big letters, exclamation marks. Read this first. This is different than manual. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. 90% of the people on the page go, hey, boss, so how do I do it? I go, what about the first video? on top that has big bold letters that says, do not go further before you do this. That's the video. So go to that. It drives me nuts. Every today I had to answer again. A person, hey, you know, and I said, why don't you look at the top video? That one with the big bold letters, you know, capitals, all. Maybe that gives you a hint to do that. So please, yeah, watch that, because that gives you every single instruction that you really need to know. But really fast, you just find a cap with which it will take you about between 3 or 4 minutes. That's the trick. Most of the time it's kept 10 or 11. And start with that. Time your sessions. Because if you time your sessions, you're going to realize every week you're doing it faster. That means you're getting stronger. And once you go below 3 minutes, you go to the next resistance cap. So 10 or 11, some people even 9, depends if you have a lung problem, but around that time. We steered away from working out with it. Once 4 gold medalists start doing only the breathing exercises, that's when we start doing only the breathing exercises.
Okay. He wasn't on Facebook. Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that. So he's going to get on Facebook again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not okay, then go to o2trainer.com, and then on the left side there's a you can click on how to use. There's the same video. The same video is on there. o2trainer.com on the left side, how to use, and but read what's below it. This is important.
But if you rejoin Facebook, you can join the O2 Trainer Bootcamp.
That's it for
club on Facebook, the group.
The group, yeah, because then you see other people who are using it as well, and they're talking about it. You know, people with COPD, people with sleep apnea, anxiety, PTSD, and it's all helping them. You know, and these are real people. So this is not. I don't have anything to do with it.
Okay, cool. Richard wants to know, what was your diet like when you were training, and did you have a program for recovery?
No, I was just always a crazy guy. I was just training hard all the time. You know, once I get older, I realized, you have to give yourself a little bit.
Yeah, that was the follow-up question. Did your recovery change as you got older?
Yeah, but I will go 4 times a week, 100%. And 100% with me is 100%. So if you see me on the Thai pass, you're going to go like, yeah, this is a whole different level. There's no pa. No, everything is to punch, to kill, to destroy. My first punch or kicks are as hard as my very last punch or kick. Maybe the ones in the back are even harder because I'm warmed up now. But only 4 times a week, which already is a lot. Because I started late. Think about this. I was 28 when I started MMA. That's pretty late in life. You know, thankfully I had a great striking background, but 0 experience on the ground. So, I always eat. If I feel good with something, I keep doing it. I can tell you that once I fought in my career, my breakfast for like 6 years straight has been marmalade jelly with whole wheat bread, 6 slices of bread. That's how I started. No butter, no nothing. Somehow the marmalade, the peel of the orange, takes care of the lactic acid for me. I always thought maybe somebody should make a pill out of that. Try it out. If it works for you as well, this is important. What you want to do, especially if you're fighting. I would do that for regular people. I would do it as well. Log everything. We talked about this here, right? For 1 month. Sorry. Yeah. For 1 month, write down everything that you eat and drink. Every single thing. Pick a piece of gum, write it down. Everything. And write down every time after you worked out if it was a good or not working. Give yourself a number from 1 to 10. Was it the 6? Was it the 3? Was it the 10? Was it the 9? Give yourself numbers. And go for the whole month. And then once you're done with the month, don't do it before, because otherwise you start adjusting it by yourself. You go back and then you will find out that most of the time when you had a bad workout, it was because of something you ate before. There's going to be something popping up. You say, every time I had a bad workout, I was eating this before or the day before. Cut that thing out and then you're good. Because if you find that out on the day of the fight, that's not going to be fun. For instance, I always use the example. I'm allergic to shellfish, and it's also in lamb meat, apparently. Can I eat it? Yeah. There's nothing. I don't get itches. There's nothing going on. The only thing that happens, and a lot of people have this, 40% or so, I think, you build up more lactic acid. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're one of those people and you never knew, and the day before the fight, you decide to go to a sushi place and get some mussels and shellfish, and then the next day you build up lactic acid, you're not going to have a fun fight. So figure that out before you start fighting. And when you fight also, everything that you're wearing in a fight, this is really stupid for me to say because people don't do it, put it in your carry-on. Don't put it in the checked luggage because things get lost. You know, and people, I had to check in and I lost my luggage. Yeah, now you don't have your own mouthpiece, not your own shorts. Maybe your, the commercials, the sponsors are on the shorts and they pay you money. You see, carry that with you at all times.
All right. What do you think about Mike Tyson's return?
Is he going to make a return?
I don't know. I guess.
Wow.
I wasn't aware of that either.
That would be crazy. Like I said, we were talking about it last week. I saw a video of him in a coffee, like a Starbucks or something, where kids asked him for some moves, and I saw a video of that. It's really scary. Mm-hmm. If you see him, he's super fast still. So he's going to do a lot of damage. If this guy is in the right headspace, which he is right now, right? I think he's.
Do you know how old he is?
He's been my age, 54, around that age.
Okay.
But I mean, he's an animal, so I think he would do good. But, it depends who they're going to pick out for him, of course.
Yeah.
Don't give him right away a top 5 guy. Just give him a top 10 guy.
Yeah. And off of that, who do you think, if you were to fight now, who do you think would be the toughest guy right now?
Oof.
In your weight class?
Yeah, that would be hard. No, first of all, if I would fight now, I'd probably fight at 185 because I was already under 200 pounds all the time, and I never cut weight. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, I was 198 before my UFC fight. So I had to literally go over 200 pounds, drink water to make it 200 pounds and over. Otherwise, it was not going to be a title fight. Mm-hmm. And that was with my jeans on. So I was probably like 195, so losing 10 pounds. Because if I see these animals, if you look like... John Jones, Tito Ortiz, Chocolate, there's 205 guys. They're tall. Mm-hmm. They're much taller than me. They got like 3 inches on me, and that's a lot of reach. Yeah. So that's still, if you got Luke Rockhold, he's a big guy too, and he fights at 185. But yeah, I would think 185 probably would be my weight class. Yeah, then of course Israel Adesanya, that would be something, because he's a freak striker. I love that guy. So of course I would love to see what I can do against that. And then we'll just let it play out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, yeah. But he's very impressive to me.
Yeah, that would be cool. Gavin wants to know, how do you strike with such energy and force and so little effort?
You're just doing it a lot. That's really it. And like I always said, if I need to fix something, if somebody, a good coach, tells me there's a mistake and I go over it in my head and I realize this is a mistake, that will be fixed the next day. Because I will do whatever in my power to fix it that day. Like I told you last week, I spent 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours in front of a mirror because my hands were here for the first Thai boxing class. I got my butt handed to me. And so I stood 4 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours in front of a mirror doing this. That same night. Next day, 85% of the gym I cleaned out. They thought I played a trick on them. They thought that I already knew how to box, that I was just acting like I couldn't. That's what the big difference was. That was the one day. So I'm very obsessive compulsive. Yeah. If I don't know something, I want to know it now. Yeah. And I'll do anything in my power to have it now.
Yeah. So goes back to discipline.
Do it a lot.
And I know you've never, he also asked, I know you've never, I believe you don't like cutting weight. Did you ever cut weight?
No, I never cut weight. I never did. Like I said, I need to gain weight. Otherwise, it was not going to be a title fight. So I literally had to drink all the waters from my buddies to go over 200 pounds. It was the UFC against Gavin Redelman because it was too light. So I always think you're beating the crap out of your body already, right? There's all injuries you have to work around. Yeah. And then you want to starve it to death too. Come on, man. Keep the body happy. Keep the soul happy. Give them whatever they want, and because,
I don't, just medically, I don't agree with it. I'm like,
it's very bad for the brain fluid.
Everything. Like, why would you want to dehydrate the crap out of yourself and then try to quickly rehydrate, which you can't in 24 hours? I think it's
very dangerous.
I think it's the dumbest thing too.
I think in boxing, that's why there are so many deaths in boxing, because you drain the brain fluids too. They're there for a reason. They're your airbags, so to say, water bags, whatever you want to call it. So if you take those away, it's a danger. Then boxing also. Boxing is boxing. Right? You go spar, you have to spar every day. They do hundreds of rounds of sparring. It's a lot of impact.
Yeah. Marvin says, where did I get Dana's t-shirt? This is one of our really old gym t-shirts.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Justine gave me this one.
Wow, look at this. The logo, everything. That's cool.
I know. I have a lot of paraphernalia.
It's been it for a long time now.
A university student that wants to be the king of pancreas. What's some advice you would give him?
We'll start training. What about that? First of all, find a good gym, and then everything you have to make priorities, If you want to be somebody, well, there's a lot of things you can't do anymore. You got to stop partying, you got to pick your spots. You can still party, but you have to wait till maybe after your fights, things like that. Mm-hmm. And if you commit, you go 100%. That's my line with everything. It's black and white with me. There's no gray areas. If I say yes, that's a yes. It's not a maybe. It will always be a yes. If I tell her I'm going to be here at 10 o'clock, I'll be here before 10 o'clock. Always. I'm always before. Mm-hmm. If I feel that I'm going to miss, I'm already on the phone with her saying, hey, I might show up 2 minutes late. I'm very much about whatever I say, I do. But it's just a habit you have to develop. I was just talking to somebody else also. Tomorrow morning, you wake up at 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Listen, I used to wake up at like 4:30, eat 6 slices of bread, go back to bed with the marmalade, go back to bed, and then wake up at 7 and then start working out. So now I started digesting while I'm sleeping again, you see? And I do this all the time. I do, like the auto trainer, right? It takes, for me, 3 minutes a day. And for everybody who hears that, it's 3 minutes a day, I can do this easy. Yeah, they do it for 2 weeks, and then the habit is broken because it's already too much. Oh, nobody's got real grit anymore. It's all weak. It's all because of the phones. Everything needs to come fast and easy, But you just stay with the habit. And if I don't do it, I can look at myself. How many times did you hear me say that? I can look at myself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. It's a big thing for me. So if I don't do the auto trainer today, tonight when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm seeing a loser. That's how I see myself then. And okay, I lighten up a little bit, of course, because I'm older right now. But with fighting, I was going to do 10 rounds. 10 rounds it is. Not 9, not 8. And even if I would die, I would walk around. If I punch like this, it's going to be okay. But I have to finish the 10 rounds. Just mentally for you. All the time, keep doing it. And just do that with everything. Pushing. Writing everything down. Logging everything. Write every technique down. The favorite techniques down. Find different setups for certain submissions. Find different setups for certain combinations to land a punch. Constantly being busy with watching fights. See, if I watch a boxing match and somebody goes down, boom, I go 20 seconds back or 30 seconds. And most of the time I already detect what he was doing. I'm going to see if there's a setup, that lead to the A count or a knockout, and I write it down. And I just steal it. I just take that combination and steal it from somebody. Mike Tyson, spleen right uppercut. How many times we do it here? He knocked 6-7 guys out with it. Top fighters in the world. You think that it won't work for us? If it works for him, of course it works for us. So again, I see that. I write it down. That's a new combination. Then I try it out in sparring. If it works for me, I keep it. If it doesn't work for me, I throw it out. Up to the next one. Whatever you don't want to use, it doesn't feel right. Don't keep it. It's stupid. Because otherwise you get too much things to choose from. And you pick the wrong one. So only go for stuff. And it's all basics. Forget about the spinning back kicks and all that stuff. Just learn how to fight first. Mm-hmm. Simple. Stamina. That's the number one thing priority in fighting.
Yeah. And I think you've talked about this before, but it's getting asked again. What's the best way to improve your cardio?
The cardio, those are the drills, the back drills that I do, the 1 minute rounds, as hard as you can. I'll post that. I have it written down on a paper. Actually, here, this is what we're looking at my laptop right now. I have the conditioning workout. I wrote it down so I can copy and paste it. And I will post it today on my Facebook page. Okay, so you can read what I did for stamina.
Yeah, Batman, you've got to get back on Facebook.
Yeah, but I can understand it because Facebook, think about it. It's really, on one side, it's a really bad company as well, right? Try to influence in everything, what you're doing. If you really think about it.
And it can turn, for me, the thing is, it can turn into a time suck. I have more time now, so that's good.
Oh, wait,
Like you can just sit there and,
constantly see, hey, how is he doing?
Right. And then you're like, I'm just going to scroll for 5 minutes. And 25 minutes later, you're like, shh.
That's it. You see scroll on a water ski.
And then next thing I know, I'm watching, cats and banana peels or something.
There you go, see? Oh, these birds, there was really birds in England. You know what they did? They would grab a nut and they would go to a traffic stoplight. They would drop the nut. They wait for a red light. They drop it. When the green light, the car drives over it, crushes the nut, and then they wait for a red light and they pick up the inside of the nut. See? And I know that because, you're scrolling, you're surfing online. Otherwise, I would never see that kind of stuff. So.
Right. Are you going back? Actually, let me go here first. Nicholas wants to know, because a couple of other people have asked too, if when they're in quarantine right now and they don't have a partner, especially since you were self-taught and stuff, what do they do if they can't train with a partner right now?
That's it. That's what I used to do myself also. So I was a professional fighter. The only thing that I had for the first year, over a year, I had a bag. I trained 2 times a day on the bag. That was it. So it's all what you do. I'm very good at visualization and see opponents making moves and see where the openings. I can see him throwing a right straight, kicking underneath to the liver. Or you have to really visualize and then just start making the combinations and going slowly but surely. And then you realize that whatever you can do in your mind, most of the time you can do in real life. You know what you're capable of, and then just drill it over and over and over again. Find those combinations that we were working last week with the knockout combinations, like 3 shots to the head. And if they work, if the guy stood still and your opponent stood still, right away do it again, but then add a punch after that. Most of the time they're ready the second time for those 3 punches. And then the punch that you add to it, like a liver shot or something, that could be the knockout. Mm-hmm. My whole fighting is based on that. Throw something out, see the reaction, and then I'm going to suddenly I give them a habit, and then, once they're used to the habit, I break the habit. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. He said, "How'd you find me? She's a machine."
Yeah.
I just came here and I got lucky to find this gym and never want to leave again. How do you block 2 punches? So you go over how to block, one with either slipping or parrying. What do you do if they throw 2 punches?
Like, okay, simultaneously?
No. I mean, I guess if they throw a quick left, right.
Yeah, but that's what we did last time with the no flinching drill that we showed in the back in the room. So you put somebody against the wall so they can't move back. And then I start punching very slow, start with straight punches and hooks. And slowly but surely go to the body and you start going faster. And you'll be amazed in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Your speed is like this. It goes really fast as long as you stay calm. As soon as you feel that you start getting flinchy, stop, slow down. And then we go slowly but surely again. Minimum movement. That's the trick. With the punches, what I always say, if my hands are here, I need to make a big move in order to let the straight punch miss me. The left, I'm talking about now. The right, I would try to block like this. But of course, that goes wrong. One time, if they throw the left and you block it to this one, you set yourself up for the right hand. But once you train yourself like that, I know it's wrong, so I move my head out of the shooting range, so to say, out of reach, so he still can't hit me. But going back to this, here I don't like to have my hands, I like to have my hands here. Now if somebody gives me a straight punch, this is the only move I have to make. And it's already missing me now. I'm already ricocheting it next to my face. Mm-hmm. So, and if you go boop, boop, outside blocks, and just set go, 1, 2. I just, slowly but surely, you got to do it. But keep your hands here. A little further out than here, that will help you tremendously. Mm-hmm. And slowly but surely is the trick. Mm-hmm. Don't start flinching, bring it back to slower speed if you start flinching. Yeah. Flinching will mess everything up.
Yesterday, I think when we were talking about moving and play with if your partner's, if your opponent partner is coming towards you or coming back. So when you're moving, do you still try to stop and plant the foot before you counter, even though it takes a little bit of a beat, or do you punch while moving? Or
yeah, I punch while moving. I try, of course, to see if I can do my feet. But if somebody bull rushes you, well, you step to the side, right? I mean, you never want to go straight back. Yeah, ask Vanderlei Silva against Vitor Belfort. We all know, we saw that fight in Brazil. I was there. I mean, he just blasted him straight. He should have stepped to this side, But then again, maybe the first punch was a big hit, and he was already dazed. Well, and if you're dazed, you don't think clearly anymore. See, so things like that happen. What was that?
Do you, when you're moving and
oh yeah, while hitting. So what I'm doing, I'm just punching, create openings, but then in my mind, I'm looking for to plant my back foot and suddenly come with a punch. We do this in my classes. We have drills like that. Like for instance, okay, we'll show it because that's I think better always. So what I'm telling them is, say, she's going to attack me with straight punches and hooks. And while she's coming to me, I'm always moving backwards and to the side. Never go straight backwards. We're going to do a little bit here because we don't have a lot of space. And then when I feel the need, when I believe that I can counter, I see a counter, I'm going to give a counter. Now, for instance, right now, I'm just going to wait for her to throw a right. And as soon as the right comes, I'm parrying it to the side and come back with a power shot. Now, of course, I'm going to do everything in front of her face. I'm just going to look for this for me. If she doesn't have her defense up, I already know that I could have hit her. I don't have to be close to her to do that. Okay? So we're just waiting. She's punching. Boom, 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 boom. That's my shot. I'm just waiting for that right again. Boom. Or I give myself, I say, come back with the left. So she's busy. Boom, 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 boom. See, then suddenly I go over the top. That one even beats a 1-2 almost. Like, if she gets me a 1-2, I say, see, it's all right. I can beat her straight. That's how fast the first comes. Bum, bum, bum. So, with that one, I'm really fast. Pushing to the side, come back with a 1-2. Now, so, in my classes, we do this. We let him move back. And we're constantly in a safe space. We're constantly out of reach because that keeps you calm and relaxed. Here, it's not fun. Here, it's much more relaxed. And only look for a spot when you feel that, oh, she's going to throw the right, there she counters. When she throws the left hook, maybe you want to block it, come back with an uppercut, but you pick the spots in the opening shots, and then it's just over and over, doing it. But that drill we use a lot. Yeah. And in the beginning, how we start, it's letting her attack me, and I don't even punch. I'm not allowed to punch. Got like 1.5 minutes. The only thing I'm doing is moving back. Well, that's the only thing because she's constantly moving up. And trying to focus on the punches, and then after 1.5 minutes, then suddenly I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to counter for my boom, that's my shot. You see, then I start looking for openings. So most of the time, in the first 1.5 minutes, you will start seeing things from your partner or your opponent that are repetitive, the way they load up a certain punch, and that's of course is the goal. If you can figure that out, and then capitalize on that.
Yes.
Nice and relaxed.
Yes. Couple people have asked, Tisha and Matt, how do you train your leg to take kicks? And Tisha specifically, she's like, since she hasn't been able to be here, she doesn't want to lose the training that she got to her legs. Conditioning. Conditioning,
yeah, that's very important. I mentioned this maybe last time also. Like my buddy and I, Amir Perez, he's a really good sparring partner for me. He's an animal in Krav Maga. Like he could be the best guy. Like freaking crazy. I mean, he took a gun away. You can find this online, 200th of a second, faster than the brain can react. So they wanted me for that show, and I said, no, I can do it, but I have a guy for you who's going to blow you away. So I gave Amir to them. Anyway, that guy, what we used to do the first 3 rounds of 5 minutes, we kick without shin guards, and we only kick the legs as a warm-up. So we go slowly but surely, but you need a good partner. You need to make sure that your partner listens to you. And then every time you go harder, till there's a moment that you say, okay, if you go harder, I'm going to get a bruise. Once you get a bruise, it's going to take a long time to recoup from that. You don't want a bruise. Stay away from bruise. No blocking low kicks, no checking, because you're kicking without shin guards, right? Gently kicking the legs. And you start. And then you'll be amazed. If you do this every time before you spar, even if you just do 1 round of 5 minutes, you'll get strong legs, trust me. That's how the karate guys used to do it, the Kyokushin guys. So that's how I do it as well. Just get used. How many times you come back after like 3 months not doing anything, and then when they kick you and you block a kick, your forearms are killing you. You know, they're black and blue again. You go, how is that possible? That never happened to me. And in 2 weeks, they're completely numb again. You see, so if you can train your arms like that, you can train your legs like that as well. So stop checking low kicks, stop letting them miss, start letting them connect you.
And what do they do now if they don't have someone to use?
A baseball bat. I'm not kidding. don't just so, or maybe grab it and just push it on there. Constantly. It's just impact. It's just teaching those muscles. Hey, there's pain coming. This is how we deal with it. It's the only way to get the nerves to slow down.
Makes sense. What's Amir doing now? Do you know?
Amir is still Amir. He's teaching military, like high level CIA, Homeland Security. This guy's everywhere. I mean, he taught the guys who guard the nukes. So Yeah, he's out there, that guy. He's if you ever feel down, if you could just, I just call him and say, hey, let's have lunch. And you're going to be completely happy again after that. He's such a great energy he has. Oh, wait.
Where is he? He's local, right?
Yeah, he's in Beverly Hills,
okay.
in Los Angeles.
That would be so cool. I think I've talked to you before about that. Would be so cool to go train with him.
He's really
Krav
good.
Maga.
Yeah, you see him teach like the Krav Maga stuff.
Yeah.
Freaking
cool.
very impressive. So my buddy Lee Mean sent this to me. I go, what is that? What is that, boss? It's chin down, hands up. I go, so for the people who come in and they fight like this, what he does, he has you squeeze it over here and they have to do the circles. And a lot of people who are studying this with the elbows, they can also put it underneath the arm. So now you can only punch with the right. Or if your right arm is all the time up, you put this in here. Now, of course, you can punch with it now, but it teaches you to keep it down. And here also, it teaches you to keep your chin down and then to move. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show that to the people. Because there's a kind of right? For movement, this is great for on the back. On the back with the impact coming back. I don't know if it's going to stick on there, but it will be a friendly reminder that you have to keep that chin tucked all the way. So, CMC MMA. Let me see. CMCMMA.com.
That's very cool.
Yeah, funny, right? You see simple things. Wait till mine comes out. I got another invention coming. And you guys got to go, why didn't everybody do that before?
Whoa.
It's one of those things that you go like,
know about this.
Seriously? Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's a secret. It's a stupid, simple thing. But you got to go, I want one. Because if it would have been around when I was here, for sure I wanted one.
Oh, man. Now I want to know.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite training, stand-up, and or grappling partner when you were preparing for Funaki?
For Funaki, I went to Larry Papadopoulos in Australia, because Australia has only 1 hour time difference with Japan. So I went 3 weeks over there to train with his guys, and so then I didn't have a problem with the jet lag going to Japan. So that was perfect for me. So I like that for the Funaki fight. But for Kevin Redelman, I was with Dwayne Ludwig over there, trained with the wrestlers there. Man, this is so bad. It's because they put me on the... so good. Ted Williams. Ted Williams helped me with the wrestling also. I go, what the heck, man? I know this guy so well. And then it's always like that. If it's a very prominent name, you forget. And Amir Peretz, Amir Peretz. He was a guy that he was one of the only guys who would actually hang with me with striking. Of course, Wayne and everybody's there. But, I would have a lot of strikers come in who would not come back. And not that because I would never hurt them, because I know they're not going to come back. But it's just stamina-wise and just pushing. The workouts are just really hard. And people, when they say how many hours a day you work out, some people go 6-8 hours. I go, I don't know what they're doing for 6-8 hours. I train 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. But my hours they're focused on throwing out a lot of energy in a short amount of time, because that's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So if I'm warming up and then I got an hour crazy insane warm-ups, we have pros who cannot do the warm-up. So you have a little bit of an idea what the level is. But you work towards it. You get, and in the beginning it killed us too. But you do it 4, 5, 6 weeks and suddenly it becomes start and then you can start pushing. So yeah, it's very important. Good training part. So Amir Peretz helped me a lot. And of course, when I was in Holland, Leon Van Dijk. This guy pretty much made my career, because I had one guy in the Pancras. Pretty much. Only when I moved to America, I had more people to roll with. But that was it. One guy in Holland, and thankfully he was really good as well. Leon Van Dijk.
Oh, that's cool. Nicholas wants to know, I kind of wrote this down cryptically. Elbow to collarbone when you're doing takedowns.
Yeah.
Something about that. Sorry, Nicholas, I might have butchered your question. I'm trying to write it down super fast.
No, it's good.
You asked it a few times.
It's good. Remember when I said also with the all fours? Yes, you can do that, and it only needs 6 or 8 pounds of pressure, from what I understand, to break a collarbone. So that goes fast.
Yeah.
On all fours, if you got the hooks in, and Right? Imagine there's a person, I got my hooks in, and I push myself forward, and here is their head. And I'm leaning all the way over, and then I also elbow the collarbone when I'm on top. He's on all fours, and I'm hanging over, and then breaking the collarbone is a real, not a nice person thing to do, but it's legal. So I haven't seen anybody do that. I actually, in Kevin Randleman's fight, you see me trying to hit his collarbone. I push his head to the side, and I'm trying literally to see if I can snap his collarbone with my elbow. I was trying that, but his traps were so freaking crazy, so big, it was hard to dig in there. But yeah, no, I'm all for that. I love that stuff. Thinking outside the box.
Speaking of Randleman, Wes wants to know, what was your body weight for the Randleman fight? He said that he thought you looked smaller than him.
Yeah, I was 197, and I was with my jeans on. So on the day before, at the weigh-ins, I had to drink waters. I remember 2 or 3 I got in, but that was literally 5 pounds of water. I drank a lot of, I did it because I didn't want to miss the weight. Otherwise, I could fight, but not for the title. So because it was a heavy weight, which was 200 pounds and over at the time. And so, yeah, I was light. And the reason of that is because I trained high altitude. And nobody told me that you dehydrated in high altitude.
Oh, so dehydrated.
So that's what I thought it was. Because and then the worst part was the day before. I remember Alan Goes. I don't know if you remember that fighter. He fought in the UFC as well. Also fought in Pancras for a fight. He attacked me for fun the day before when we arrived. And we were grappling, and all my muscles locked up forward like an acid. And I'm freaking out now. So I say, guys, I'm going to go up to the room. I'm going to get my training gear. We're going to go to the gym right now, because if this happens tomorrow, I'm going to be screwed. Or it was 2 days before. And that is because I was training high altitude. So more people have that. A friend of mine, when I told the story, had the same thing. Was training high altitude. He came back. And Dwayne Ludwig. When I went with Dwayne, he would always, in grappling, he would shake his hands. And I go, dude, that's lactic acid, right? Yeah, I said, see, I had the same thing. Is the dehydration, and then everything becomes super tight. So hydrate, especially when you train high altitude.
Which is also why it's so bad to cut weight, because they're dehydrating themselves.
Yeah, you see, there you go. Your muscles, everything lost up.
I hate that. The dehydration. Matt, we talked quite a bit last week about weight training for fighting. So definitely look at that one too. Bas does love weight training circuit. He doesn't like to get big muscles, but he does like to do weight training. Why do you think Tom asked, why do you think it's so rare to see a karate leg sweep in the UFC? I think I wrote that down right.
Well, a lot of people are not focusing on it. Do you remember Thierry, Remy, Tokuchu, from Dan Henderson, Sokuchu. Thierry Sokuchu. He was a judo guy, and he had really great sweeps as well. You know, and they do it the same, that almost looks the same as the karate sweep, sweeping the leg. That's what you're doing, right? Sweep the leg, Johnny, because we see it now with karate combat as well. These guys sweeping the leg. But it's almost the same, because it's like a judo sweep. And he was super successful with it. Actually, I was training with him for my last fight, and he got me a bunch of times with that, because I never expected that. He was just sweeping the leg, you know. So I think when people find out how effective it is, it will come back in there. But that's the same with everything else. Why don't we see palm strikes? Why don't we see clotheslines? They're all legal, super effective, yet nobody's doing it. But I bet you once people start knocking people out, everybody's going to do it like that. So I hope it comes back. Sweep the leg, Johnny. That's what we're doing.
Jonathan and Chris want to know, what are the top 5 things to look for in a dojo or training center you go to? I think those are good.
Yeah. Well, is it clean? Is it good? Most of the time, look at the people who are training there. Like you come in this gym, there's nobody screaming profanity and walking around with shirts, and you know that's a knucklehead gym. In my book, that is. You know, why not be a professional fighter who actually behaves like a human being? That's maybe a good thing, right? You don't have to scream and shout and being aggressive. So take that, but the instructor also, and you have to Google, man, and take a free class. The first class is always free, and if it's not free, don't even go there. I wouldn't do it, because then they try to hide something. In my book. And then just start asking people. But you see most of the time what kind of students it attracts. And there you can see, and if you see other students who are already really good, well, if he started there, well, that could be you then as well. So I would look at those kind of things. And you ask questions. I was the worst person in class always for the teacher. But my teachers, thankfully, were the same as me. I love it when people ask me things. And I would ask anything. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? An example I always used was, asked my karate coach, it was a block, a high block, boom. And it has to be done with this hand on the outside and this hand on the inside. So I asked him right away, why is it like this and not like this? And he looked at me and he goes, I don't know. He says, but I'll know tomorrow. I'm going to figure that out right now. You see, so I like coaches like that.
Yeah.
Because I would say the same thing. If I don't know, I say, I'm going to find out for you. I don't know right now.
Yeah.
So then he found out that it was, and then he loved it that I asked, because now he knew as well. Well, this is the hand that's going to block a potential knife attack, right? So you want to make sure this hand is always safe from blocking. Here there could be a situation that they hold this, and now you can block, right? But if you protect the hand that's going to block, then you always have a block. I know, but but little things like that, I would want to know. Why do you do it a certain way? That question has never been asked him. He's been a teacher for 30 years. I was the first guy to ask why it's this and not this. You see, and I want you guys to do that also. Ask. And then see what their reactions are and their answers are. And maybe start Googling. Don't be content with whatever they say. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's people make mistakes, right? A lot of people with the news, for instance, they just heard it. Mm-hmm. They just heard it from somebody else. It doesn't mean it's true what they're saying. So really do your homework. It's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. And what I'll throw in, so I came here from a Krav Maga studio, and I got sick of, I felt like there were some egos there, and I was like, I just want to train. Like, I just want to keep learning stuff. And so when I came here, I tried Bas's class. Bas immediately came over, introduced himself, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And he was like, I can tell you guys have trained before. What have you trained? And I told him Krav Maga, and he was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, I hope you come back. And just everyone was so friendly. And then, fast forward to several years later, I love it when new people come in here, and that's what they say. They're like, gosh, you guys are so friendly. Yeah. And I always say it trickles down from the top. If Bas doesn't have an ego, who am I going to be to have an ego? And two, our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, he could kill anyone with his pinky, and he's the nicest. It's just there's no egos. So
and most of the time that comes from knowing who you are, I guess, right? I mean, we don't. Why do we need an ego? People know us anyway. Yeah. He's a world champion, our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. There's no need for an ego. Most of the time, egos and the big talkers are the guys who want to be there, but they are not there. Yeah. And then they don't get enough attention, and I guess that's their way of getting attention. Like when I was a kid, I couldn't get positive attention because I had an eczema skin disease and people were afraid of me. So if I wasn't going to get positive, I was going to get negative attention. But as a kid, you still want attention, you see? And if you think about that, I guess that's with soccer coaches also. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them out there. It's really dangerous. And you know what I always say, especially in self-defense. Because in self-defense, if you teach somebody a wrong move, like a knife attack, imagine that person walks on the street and now his body is with him, and somebody pulls a knife and they want to attack his body, and he puts his body to say, hey, step back, I got it. And he blocks it, because they taught him the wrong move. It's dangerous. So that's why I want to stay. I think we talked about it last week. That's why I want to stay away from that. From self-defense.
Yeah, definitely. And some of the questions we did go into a lot last week. So if some of you guys weren't here last week, definitely look at last Saturdays and the ones before too. There's so much good information on here on these Q&As. What are your top 3 fights that you did commentary on, and do you think you'll ever go back to commentary? Tommy and Jason both asked about commentary.
I like commentary. I do still for Karate Combat. They're going to come out. We just, they're putting the timetables now together. So, with everything's going down, they really want to start broadcasting. So hopefully within 2 weeks, we have something, and it's going to be broadcasted. For MMA shows, I didn't do for a while. The Professional Fighters League, they had to make a decision, and they let me go. Unfortunately, they chose Reddy Couture, which is a great guy. So all power to him. And if there's 3 in the booth, sometimes it's too much, or 4. So that's no worries. Everything's okay, and I'm just waiting for the next thing to pop up. But I really enjoy Karate Combat. I'm very happy I went with these guys on board. Go to karate.com to check them out, because if you've never heard of them, they fight in a pit, a really special designed pit with 45-degree angle walls that you can use to jump off and punches. There are takedowns allowed with 5 seconds ground and pound, no submissions, no holding, nothing whatsoever. Man, we went to Greece, we had 7 fights, 55 minutes, the show was over. I mean, everybody got knocked out in the first round. So, these guys look great. Karate.com, just check that out.
That's
really
cool.
Nice organization.
That's cool. Gavin wants to know, if you can't evade a hit, like if you're just like you're not going to get there, you can't block it, what's the best way to take an impact?
It's either bracing yourself or going with it. It's one of the two. But the most important is you have to see it. Because if you see it, you're ready, your brain is ready for impact. If you can see it, you can also move with it, takes the steam out of the punch. If I somebody gives me a straight punch and I just move out, just this little bit, it already takes 70% of the power out. That goes fast. Somebody kicks me a roundhouse kick here, I just jump to the side. Only this far. We showed that last week, actually. And then there's no power in the kick. Because once they kick, they focus on one spot, that spot. And if that spot, you suddenly put it there, then it's gone. So the power is out. So with punches in the face, it's either, what I like to do, it's either jam and go towards it, because that will take the steam out of it as well, or just bracing yourself at the moment of impact, or going with the punches. Whatever you do, don't flinch, because if you flinch, they might connect at the moment you don't see it, and that's the knockout, the punch that you don't see coming. That's why sometimes, that's why it's so annoying with that reporter with McGregor and Cerrone. Right, who the reporter for ESPN, I believe it was, he said that was a BS thing. You can never be messed up like that from a shoulder punch. And this is a guy who never fought himself. And I go, dude, you should shut the hell up. I mean, who does that? Right? You're talking about a fighter, Cerrone. He says Cerrone was afraid. Cerrone afraid? That guy takes every freaking fight, last minute notice. He's got big cojones. Of course he's not afraid. Yeah. And then for a guy like that to come out, and you know what happened in that fight? Because if he would have trained himself, he would have had that 100% guarantee as well. I've been in sparring times, and then when people were filming, and then after the round, they would say, "Oh, dude, let me see it," because you freaking nailed me, man, in the first minute. And then when you see the punch, it's ridiculous. It's not even a punch like this. And I go, really? That's it? I mean, I really felt it. It was just a moment that I didn't see it. And that shoulder check that McGregor did just came at a moment that he didn't expect it. Yeah, and then it can daze you. And as soon as you're dazed, well, then everything that follows it up with, well, your reflexes are off, So, it could be a simple little thing that already sets off a knockout. So, but if you see it, you're ready for it. That's why I'm saying always make sure nose on your opponent, not your eyes on your opponent. And I'm saying this because I saw it last week. This is my eyes on her opponent, but if she gives me a left hook right now, I can't see that left hook coming. Straight I can still see, but if she loops around, you see that if I do this, there's nothing that she has the whole picture. Nose on your opponent.
And that answers a question someone said earlier about where do you look to
chest.
See every strike.
Yeah, look at the chest. Never look at the eyes.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. How can Nicholas practice power shots without a partner?
Oh, yeah, power shots without a partner. You need to start doing push-ups with hand claps. Those are really good to get explosive power in there, because that last little step, that's where the power is. And then, did Dwayne post it? I don't think he asked me if I could, well, that's not power shots, but it's really good for accuracy. What I used to do in my house, I had these little cords coming down from the ceiling with clothespins on it. And the clothespin would hold like an how do you call it, sticky note. Mm-hmm. But I would have them through the whole apartment, everywhere. Mm-hmm. So on the path to my bedroom, that would be 3 or 4. And it would always be these two shoulder-width lines that I would stand on, and I would walk to the apartment like that, and then I would hit those little notes, you know. And like at the time, and with that paper, you hear a special sound it makes at the very end, pack, when you nail it. And somehow, for me, that translated in a good, nice little power shot. Although it's a piece of paper, but you know, to make that to hear that sound, yeah, you have to do it. So you know what it is, otherwise you're going to go, what the heck is he talking about? Mm-hmm. But I actually, Dwayne asked me that a couple of weeks ago. He says, can you make a video of it? And I made it from dental floss. I made some, and I was still hitting it. And then they stayed there for like a week again. My wife says, can I take them away? I said, no, I can enjoy it again. You know, like bing, you know, picking these little spots. It's a lot of fun to do. So if you got to go to the restroom, you got a little session in there, you know? And then you go to the restroom, come back home, come out of the restroom, little session again. And if the paper is like this, you give it a hook. If the paper is straight, you give it a straight punch. So yeah, it's all about timing. You know, hitting something at the end of your punch. That is the trick, at the very end. Everything before that doesn't have as much power. You can still knock somebody out, but doesn't have as much power.
Mm-hmm. And why, Mike wants to know, why don't you look in the eyes?
Because the eyes always cheat. You look at my eyes, so you're going to go. I mean, I will look down, hit high. I will look you dead in the eye, give you a liver shot. You know, I look at your body like I want to give a liver shot, bonk, and I give a left hook to the head. You see, so, and I do it also with demeanors. I'm not only doing this. No, I'm looking, my whole demeanor goes to the body. And from here, I go, boom, so I give a left punch high. Super effective. Super effective. So, yeah, not to fall for that. Like it's pointing, you know, I always thought about that too. Pointing low kick, pointing low kick, pointing low kick. Through the whole fight, and suddenly you point, boom. While you're looking down, you make a high kick. You see? Mm-hmm. That's why you don't want to look at the eyes. And especially now I'm also pointing. Now I put two things together. I'm looking and I'm pointing. And my demeanor. Three things together. So yeah, it's hard to not fall for that.
Yes. Yep. Did you ever run in your prime? I think you might have answered that before.
I like running just to get my head out of it, but we'll always be in the forest. You know, in Holland, thankfully, we had some great forest with little hills here and there, you know, and then sprinting up. I never liked on the street. Mm-hmm. I think it's boring. I'm really fast bored. I need to go. That's why normally running with me, everything is hard, fast. Incline sprints, you know, because otherwise, I'm falling asleep almost while I'm walking. So, yeah, forest sprints running, but not 5 miles on the road. I never did that.
Right. What do you think about the current path of MMA?
I think it's great. I think I love it. I mean, everything is so much better than when I was fighting, right? Everything is to do with science now. Mm-hmm. MMA became its own sport now. In the beginning, we had to all mix it together. Like when I was there, you know, you pick arts and you put them together. Now you have a coach who can teach you everything, you know, because they also, evolution did its work as well there. So, yeah, also everybody's in shape. I'm very happy about that because that would drive me nuts in the early days. Mm-hmm. Guys coming in who couldn't go 3 rounds. You go, it's your job. It's like being a painter and you show up in half a can of paint. Oh, yeah. You think you're going to keep your job? Of course you're not going to keep your job. I mean, it's so ridiculous, you know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's why I said with fighting, stamina. That should be your number one priority when you start fighting. Trust me. Yeah. Because your stamina that you have in the dojo, that's 50% is gone when you fight. With all the nerves and the adrenaline, your first fights, you're going to be, what the heck? It's crazy, you know? And you burn like a maniac. So stamina will make you win.
Mm-hmm. Do you regret not fighting Rickson Gracie?
Yeah, I would have loved to fight Rickson, yeah. He was, we talked about it last week also, you know? And yeah, when I challenged him, everybody had to miss. They thought I hated him or we didn't like each other, but it wasn't true at all. It was just because I saw him roll in the documentary and I go, holy crap, you know, when I see talent, it's like, oh, it blows me away. I can be crying when I see that. When I look at America's Got Talent or So You Think You Can Dance or these shows, you know, Idol, and some person comes in who doesn't even realize how good they are, you know, then it's my eyes, I'm not like this, I'm not crying, but somehow I'm sitting there and always my eyes start leaking. It's always my right eye start leaking. And then my wife looks at me and crying. I say, yeah, but I'm not crying. It's really weird. When I see talent, I have that. And I have that with fighting too. Mm-hmm. I see somebody super talented and literally a tear comes out. I don't know how to stop it. But it's not like I'm sitting there, boo, boo,
But
me.
you're touched. I mean, it's very cool to see what human beings can do and what it's amazing.
It's everything for me. Like Tim Ballard, you know, I saw this movie. Tim Ballard is a guy who rescues traffic kids who get trafficked. And I saw a movie about him, and Jim Caviezel's playing him. That movie's going to come out in November. When you see that movie, that's going to shock you, that movie. And it's nothing bad, it's super bad, but I mean, the images are not. They did it really nicely done. But it figure wrecks your heart out, you know. You want to, you know, if you want to kill people, those are the people you really want to kill when you see that, what happens. And it is so prominent right now. There's so much of it. We talk millions, you know, and that's a guy. And that story is a true story. He goes literally into the jungle disguised as a doctor to a place where the police and military doesn't even want to come. Just because he made a promise to one guy whose son and daughter got stolen. He found the son, but then he couldn't find the daughter, and then he made it his mission. That was his first mission, and that's Rambo, but real. That guy, I get goosebumps now. That guy literally went for this little tiny girl into a place where everybody gets killed, murdered, police, nobody wants to come. That guy, then, you know, when I question myself, am I a tough guy? You know, when I see a movie like that, no, I'm absolutely not. Could I do that? I don't know. I hope I can do it for my own kids' family. Yeah, you do it. But think about this. He does that. He has 7 kids of himself, and he still does that? Dude, I have so much respect for people like that. That makes me very emotional all the time. Tim Ballard, B-A-L-L-A-R-D. Google that guy. You'll be amazed. Over 3,500, I think he already saved now. Yeah, he's a special individual.
Wow. Do you think money took over MMA?
Well, money, but you know, it had to be, because why would the UFC get sold for what, 4.2 billion? Let's say 4 billion. So there's a lot of money to be made. So if they can make money, should the fighters get it? Of course they should get it. So yeah, the problem with money is a lot of money. Well, people start behaving different, right? Mm-hmm. And but hey, listen, I will be the last person who judges, because I think if I would have been 28, 30 years old and they put like $5 million in my hand, I would have been crazy too. So I'm staying far away from judging everybody, because I've been super nuts myself. So it's really not my place to say things like that. I hope, though, that I would have a good person, like a friend of mine, Darren Harvey, is a really close friend of mine, very smart man with money. I would probably give it to him and say, hey, help me out here, how to do this in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do some rapid fire. Okay, does Kevin James have any fight game?
Kevin, yeah, okay, as sparring... he doesn't want to say anything. His sparring and training are, of course, different things. As a fighter, he's a really good martial artist. He really is. And if you look to Here Comes the Boomer, you saw when the Focus Smith's doing that with Mark Delagrotti, that is him doing at real speed. There's nothing sped up. He looks actually better there than some professional fighters look. That's how good his technique is. Now, that translates that to sparring? No, of course it doesn't translate to sparring, but he almost never spars. But as an artist... You know, like for instance, Steven Seagal is a great martial artist. But that doesn't mean if he can really fight. I'm not saying he can, but I'm just saying, you know, a certain art, you know, if you never sparred, it's a whole different thing. And especially under pressure. So thinking fighting here or outside, you can compare it even.
Mm-hmm. Are you ever going to come back to Grand Theft Auto?
I hope so much. I mean, can you imagine I would have had 0.5% of that game? 0.1%. I mean, the first weekend, GTA 4 was $600 million. What the first weekend?
Wow.
Think about it, you got 0.1% of that. You know, that's still, you know, I should have said that instead of asking for money. But they know how big it was going to be. They would never give me 0.5%.
Are you going to do more movies?
Yeah, I was going to do one at the beginning of this year, but then thankfully it didn't happen, because it would have happened anyway with the COVID-19, and they pushed it to next year. So hopefully then everything is gone, and that will be a good one for me if that happens. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it's going to be badass one. It's not going to be comedy this time. It's going to be cool, and it's a part 2 of something, but I can't say yet what it is. But the first one was good, okay. So I will love it.
Do they need a female lead?
I will look for a female feel a little person. Yeah.
Let me know. I think I can probably free up my schedule. Yeah. I'll go ahead and free it up.
But you don't see the family here then.
That's true. I'll have to come back and forth. I'll miss my gym. When are you going to do your autobiography?
Yeah, they asked last time also. I got to wait till my youngest daughter's 21. What about that? 2 more years.
Yes.
And then I will interview everybody and also the people who are present at the moment when it happened, because otherwise they're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some crazy stuff.
What are your thoughts on doing any traveling seminars after, obviously, all this is over?
Oh, yeah, I would love to do seminars. I would love it. You know, the thing is, if you want to book me a seminar, schedule at basrutten.com. That will come to me. Somebody will make sure that I get it. Then that's where you can ask for seminars. I love seminars, but please keep it striking. Because my knees, if I'm on my knees, on my kneecaps, which have no cartilage, it really is a big payback for me in the next 4 or 5 days. It really hurts me. But striking somehow, I don't have a problem with. So.
Okay. Do you use any pre-workouts besides CBD? And the O2 trainer, I guess, could be considered a pre-workout. Since
pre-workout.
It gives you the energy. Any other pre-workout?
A pre-workout, like a Body Edge stuff. There was like what was the name before? Body Storm was the name before. And they took something out, and now Body Edge. But that also always helped me not to build up lactic acid. And I felt that. That actually I used for my last fight, actually. Because before I never had that. But in 2006, it was the first time that I had it. I go, oh, that feels good. It doesn't make you like jittery. I stay away from all that stuff.
Yeah.
The only C4, I sometimes use that, but that's more the niacin in there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes you tingling.
Niacin flush,
yeah, and that I like that also, but I'm like rock stars and all these things. That's not me. I'm getting jittery. I don't want to eat. It's everything that suppresses your appetite most of the time. That's not good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite alcohol and your favorite beer?
Yeah, favorite beer would be Stella. I like that beer because it's got a good taste to it. I used to go to Holland, to Belgium. I lived 5 miles away from from the border. And we would go to Belgium because, first of all, they stay open all night. They don't have closing times. And then and they had Stella beer. And in Holland, we had Heineken, Bavaria. Bavaria is good too, but Bavaria from Holland, that one. It's from a city where I used to teach actually karate, also in Nune. That's a really good beer as well. Trader Joe's had it here when I came. Okay, so I came to Trader Joe's. I just told my wife I'm not going to drink for like 3 months. I walked into Trader Joe's and now they had Bavaria beer. I said, honey, this is the Lord telling me that I can't drink because that's my favorite beer. So, and then every time I took it, but every time it would be sold out. So I had to pre-order them. So they sold like a maniac because everybody loved it. And then they discontinued it. I said, what's the logic in that? They were selling out the whole time and suddenly they discontinued using Bavaria. That's a really good beer too. But Stella Artois, I like that.
Yeah, that's what my stepdad, who's from Belgium, that's his.
Is Stella too? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it too late? Can a 43-year-old start MMA and BJJ?
100%, yeah. We have a 38-year-old guy here who started, and he had 12 fights now. I think he won 9. He started competing. Lost 50 pounds of muscle. He was a power lifter. He was 250 pounds when he came in. I said, that's got to go, dude. That's going to hold you back. And he went to 205. So Jens, our guy is from Denmark, is a good friend of mine as well. Because both European guys came here to live the American dream. And he's just a really good guy helping out here as well. And then also we have an 82-year-old here in this class. This is sparring classes on Saturday. 82 years old.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he spars with the guys. 82 years old. So it's never too late. And you know, thankfully for you guys, you have categories like that. You don't, if you decide to start competing, which I would always tell you to do, because then you have a goal, you know. And if you don't, go for the belt system. You know, that's a nice thing as well. But you know, start competing, and then in your own age group, they have that nowadays.
Have you ever met Chuck Norris?
No, I wish. I really want to meet Chuck Norris. I pretty much met everybody else. Ali I missed also. And I wish that I would have met him. And of course Bruce Lee, but that's a long time, 73, that's when he passed away. So I was 8. So yeah, it was a bad day though. Anyway, yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris, man. I mean, what was it? The Octagon. that that's actually a movie from the Octagon. That was a long time back with these freaking guys with the knives, the samurais, the ninjas, and then he had to fight those guys. Yeah, Chuck is badass. I love the guy.
Yeah. JJ loves posting about him. He did a funny one. He was like, Chuck Norris got exposed to coronavirus. The virus is now in isolation for 2 weeks.
You know what the coolest thing was? That people started doing that with mine.
Oh,
they read all the Chuck Norris jokes. And then they said, Chuck Norris checks under his bed for Bas Rutten before he goes to sleep. And they made a whole list, and I thought it was hilarious, you know.
That's hilarious.
But I'll leave that for Chuck. Chuck is really the man. You know, a true story, what I heard with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said that he didn't believe in high kicks because the kick would be too long on its way to the head. Too long way, it was too easy to detect. Then he started sparring with Chuck Norris, and apparently Chuck kicked him a few times in the head. And then he said, okay, we're going to change that. That's the great thing from Bruce Lee. He started adding kicks to the head. So that's how good Chuck was.
That's really cool. Okay, how about let's finish. We're at 11:05. The Brian Urlacher story.
Oh no! You know, that's I feel bad for him. You know,
I don't think I know that story.
Oh, it was his brother. You know, and they look identical, and they came up, and then yes, Brian just wanted to help his brother. So his brother was not a nice guy. He started pushing. I think I got too much time. We're at a fundraiser for kids for open heart surgery. And there's like 2 martial artists, MMA guys, 2 football guys, 2 NBA guys, like all together. We went to a party and they were raising money for kids who needed open heart surgery. And I walk into the party and the band is right away, Bas Rutten, hey, come on stage. And I start singing with the band. The drummer says, hey, you play the drums? Yeah, you want to play a song? Cool. I play a song with them. And I think that maybe his brother didn't like that. Because when I came down, I stepped on his toes. Literally while I was shaking hands. And you know, when you touch somebody's toes, you don't really step on it, right? You pull off and I go, dude, I'm sorry. And he pushed me right away. I go, whoa, relax, dude. You know, I'm sorry. Oh, F you. I go, okay, you want a drink? I said, F you. And again, I said, dude, you got to calm down. I said, because we're at the fundraiser here. Normally, I would have already knocked you out. You're a dumbass. You know, I can't stand people like that. And then Urlacher thought that, you know, he was in trouble, his brother, so he asked me if I wanted to go outside with him. So he just helped his brother. So he was not the bad guy at all. Okay. And then, of course, the security jumped in. They said, let's not do that. Don't go outside with that guy, you know, because that's the different sport, you know. I mean, it's like me playing football and getting tackled by Urlacher. I mean, from what I understand, he's like, could be the best, the biggest guy in the football team. What do you call that position? I know, I can say linebacker. Linebacker.
I was like, it's not running back.
Yeah, he goes straight through me. So you see what I mean? So, and that was it, you know. So, and then it became this whole story because I said it on the Best Damn Sports Show period. They asked me about it. I thought already everybody knew the story, you know, and I found out nobody knew. And I felt horrible for Urlacher because, like I said, it was not him. You know, he was actually okay. So,
what do you think about pineapple on pizza?
I love it as long as you do it together with anchovies.
Oh, anchovies!
I had it yesterday. I had that yesterday. I go. What I take at the Lamppost Pizza, I take the gluten-free because I like it better, not because of the gluten-free, but I like it better because it's a little bit more crispy. I take the big one, the 12-inch LA artichoke with half the amount or 1/3 of the amount of cheese that they normally use. I'm not a big cheese guy. I like cheese, but not like freaking covered. So 1/3 of the cheese, and then I add anchovies and pineapple to it. They always look at me like I'm crazy. But the sweet sour is the golden combination. I'm telling you.
Yeah, sweet sour.
I start salivating right now. Yeah. So it works.
And did the tear come out of your eye too?
No, not yet. But that's only when I see it.
Oh, okay.
Like if I see an In-N-Out burger or double, it's where it goes.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Let's go with that.
Thank you guys everybody.
For watching.
We'll be back tomorrow morning, Sunday here, Recovery Day with Dana.
Recovery.
She's going to stretch. She's going to use the purple balls. You see when I did it? That she had?
Yes. Bring your balls.
They look like testicles. Yeah, bring the balls, your balls. That's it.
Yeah, bring those with you.
It never gets old, that stuff. That's why that's what she said. I use that at the worst position everywhere we are with the kids. like a very serious situation. If somebody says, "Who's in Hana?" I go, "That's what she said." You know, all the time. It's the best line. It's from The Office. I believe The Office started with that. Steve Carell, probably, or one of these guys. It's a funny show.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Thank you all.
Booyakasha. Right straight in the camera.
In the face.